What's going on, everybody? My name is Ben and welcome back to the bench for another episode of Sci-Fi Wednesdays. Unfortunately today we don't have anything on the ATST. I just wasn't able to get enough footage to get you guys a full episode, so instead we're going to go ahead and continue working on that, and then next week I'm hoping to have an update for you guys next Wednesday. Instead though, I actually ended up picking up a couple of sci-fi models and I thought, you know what? Let's do a quick stash update, show you guys what I have here in the stash. I'm just adding to it. Maybe get you guys' opinion on any of these you might want to see coming up in a future episode. Leave a comment down below and let me know what you guys think. So let's go ahead and get started. Dive into the first kit. This is a Bandai 1/12 scale Boba Fett. Boba Fett's one of the coolest characters in Star Wars. He's a bounty hunter. He's gruff. He's mean. He looks like he's going to put the hurt on you. So you don't want to mess with Boba Fett. I wasn't actually intending on buying any model kits. I was down at Target of all places, just kind of wandering the aisles, and I ended up wandering through the toy aisle, as you do, and I ended up finding this on one of the bottom shelves. I even checked on Amazon to kind of compare the prices, and it was cheaper at Target. Super excited about it, so I grabbed it, threw it in the shopping cart, and went on about my day. So this should be a lot of fun. Now, it's a Bandai kit, so we know right off the bat it's going to be a really fun build. It's going to be very intuitive. It's not really going to have too many fit issues. It's going to be mostly snapped together. Everything's molded in color, though I will more than likely end up painting things. It just is a really, really nice looking little model. I always love Bandai stuff. They're great. Coming off of the ATST, which was also a Bandai kit, I'm not really sure I want to go full on and like make a diorama or anything like that. I don't really want to do something like that. I'm not really prepared for that. But what I thought I might want to do is, if you guys are familiar with The Mandalorian and kind of coming off the Mandalorian theme, building the Raider ATST, maybe I should do the Mandalorian style version of the Boba Fett armor. That might be kind of interesting. The end of, I believe, this year, we have a new series coming out called The Book of Boba, and his armor is very much the same, but it's repainted, less damaged, it looks fresher. So that might be kind of fun to go ahead and do that. But I mean, either way you look at it, Bandai kits are always awesome. They've got a lot of extra parts and pieces, like different hands and different weapons. So no matter what I decide to do, it would still be pretty cool. Now, the instructions are always really, really well laid out here in a Bandai kit. This one is just like the others, very reminiscent of other Bandai kits I have built. Opens up and just kind of unfolds. And there's a lot of really, really good detail. Full breakdowns, each individual body part itself, from the head to the torso to the legs and arms. All of that stuff is nicely broken out, so it's easy to follow. Of course, it's got some color here on the back, showing the jetpack and all that stuff and the weapons. And then the very last page, of course, is him completely built in all of his colors. So it's really, really nice. Gotta love Bandai, honestly. So I don't really know what I want to do with it just yet. If you guys have any suggestions, feel free to drop them in the comments. This would be kind of a fun build. It would be super simple compared to the ATST. I wouldn't be doing any real scratch building, but I think it would be a really fun project, And honestly, Bandai parts are always nice. They even have a cape, all nicely pleated and folded. So that is an option, guys. Let me know if you are interested in seeing this maybe coming up on a future installment of Sci-Fi Wednesdays. I know it would be a lot of fun to make. I even thought about backdating it all the way back to Jango Fett, since it's pretty much the same armor, but the details would be different, and that would take a lot more scratch building and completely different color scheme. So I'm not really sure I'd want to do that, but maybe building the version like Empire Strikes Back, or even going forward to the Mandalorian and build the new updated armor. Either way, Bandai makes great stuff, and I'm very excited to see what we can do with this particular kit. So let me know if you guys want to see something like that. Now, moving right along, as you guys well know, a couple weeks ago, I did a stash update where I showed that I had purchased a Babylon 5 Star Fury. And Babylon 5 is one of those series that I also really, really enjoy. Even though it's a bit more obscure, I always enjoy Babylon 5. I've been watching through the series, been kind of rewatching everything, and kind of getting immersed in Babylon 5 again. So I was actually online one day just poking around on eBay, and I was very curious what Babylon 5 merchandise they had available that you could build. I came across a couple of things, such as the little wrist communicator. I saw that. There was also the Earth Alliance badge that the soldiers wore, so that was kind of cool. And then I came across this, and this is something I had not seen before. I didn't even know they made these. A scale replica of the prop PPG pistol that they used in Babylon 5. And the PPG is basically the standard Earth Alliance sidearm everyone pretty much carries. It's very reminiscent of like an old snub-nosed .38 revolver. And this is actually made by a company called Arsenal Models, and it is a full resin cast of an actual prop model of the PPG. I didn't know they made anything like this, so I had to pick it up. It even comes with a nice little handout here from Arsenal, just giving you a very nice rundown of all the steps and procedures and what you can do to paint and prime and all that good stuff. So this should be really a lot of fun to make. Now, there is some cleanup that we'd have to do. There's an ejector pin marks, there's some seam lines, a couple of the details are kind of soft. You need to go ahead and get them a little bit cleaned up, a little more defined, but overall, it's a very nice looking little replica. I did notice that the front flash hider is actually a little bit canted off to the left, so it's slightly warped. So we could, in theory, cut that off, shape it up again, put it back on. Who knows? We do have some issues with with the grips. The grips aren't necessarily as cleanly molded on this side as they are on the other side of this. And then finally, we have this cap on the very back here, and this is actually something that's detachable in the show. So I thought maybe it'd be kind of fun to go ahead and cut this off, and then maybe add a dowel or something in there, and then add a magnet so we could actually take this off and on. I don't know, it's just kind of a fun idea that I had. Now I was actually also considering using this as my own prop model, so I could create another PPG out of resin, maybe have fun with making a two-part resin mold. I haven't done that since I did my water base for the Zero float plane I did for the All at Sea group build, so I don't really know what I want to do with it just yet, but I have a feeling that it's a very good base to work off of. There's no assembly needed, but it would actually allow me to maybe push the envelope just a little bit, customize this, maybe make it a bit better looking, but that might be a way to go. So let me know what you think. Now, in terms of sci-fi series, I really enjoy building any kits from, say, Star Wars, Star Trek, Battlestar Galactica, even Terminator. I've got a couple of Terminator kits that would be kind of fun to build. Since I like a lot of sci-fi shows and sci-fi series, I really do enjoy the Aliens franchise. Now, I first saw Alien probably on TV when I was maybe 9 or 10, and it was edited, of course, so it wasn't as gory and wasn't as bloody as the actual movie. And that movie really kind of stuck in my mind as something that was very special. Now, for the second movie, Aliens, I actually saw that on Laserdisc, if you can believe that. And I saw that probably maybe a year or two later after I watched Alien on TV. Aliens, man, that movie is awesome. So I've often wondered why they don't have model kits. And there's a couple online that you can get from the 90s, put out by a company called Halcyon, and they're all PVC and they're really expensive. They go well over $300, and I'm just not willing to pay that kind of cash, you know? So the big question is, as an Alien fan, what are you going to build? So in that vein of thinking, I went out and I picked up this. This is Aliens: Another Glorious Day in the Core, and this is actually a cooperative survival board game. Something I've never really done before, and of course it's Aliens, so I'm immediately sold on that. And this is one of those board games that comes with figures, and that's kind of the modeling aspect here of this particular purchase. Now, as you can see, we've got a whole slew of the Marines, and then we have a bunch of the alien xenomorphs. So we would have to build every single one of these figures and also paint them. So that would be kind of interesting. Now, you'll notice that aside from looking through the rulebook, I really haven't done anything else with the game itself, but I will go ahead and show you guys the actual plastic. As you can see, we have one sprue of all of our Marines, and I'll go ahead and give you a close-up here, but I can tell you that they look pretty nice. And then we have 4 sprues of our xenomorph aliens. Those actually come with different heads, different arms, different poses, and you have to kind of choose and build them up as you want. So that's actually very cool. Now, all the main characters are represented here, and they're very nicely molded. So you can see here we have a base with their name stamped on it. We have the figure, and we have their weapons. So that's really nice. Moving on down here, we have Ripley. Of course, you got to have Ripley. And of course, we have Vasquez. And Vasquez is awesome. She's such a great character in the movie. We have Hudson with his motion tracker. We have Frost with his flamethrower. And we have Gorman up here at the very top, just with a little pistol. And of course, we have Newt. Now, Gorman is not really a great character in the movie, but he is here in the board game. So that's kind of interesting. Now, in terms of the actual molds, though, if we go ahead and zoom in here, you can see there's actually quite a bit of detail. Now, I don't really paint figures very much, but this would actually be very kind of fun to try them out. Not only do we have a base with their name on it, we also have the uniform, we have the armor, we have the weapons, we have the helmets and all the gear. So that would be a lot of painting and probably be very fun to go ahead and just attempt. You know, I've never done anything quite like that. And of course, then on the xenomorphs, they shouldn't be that difficult to go ahead and work with. They are all basically very dark colors like dark gray and black. So I'm not really too concerned about painting, but assembly will be a little bit more tedious because you have to pick the head, arms, torso, and build the pose that you want. So that would be a little bit more tedious, and there's a lot of them too. But that's kind of the overall look at the figures, and this would be the modeling aspect. So if I went ahead and did a video series on Aliens: Another Glorious Day in the Core, it would be simply just attempting to paint and build these little figures, try my luck at it. I know I'm not really a figure painter, but I would love to go ahead and get more into painting figures, and these wouldn't have to be really detailed, you know, showroom quality. I could just go ahead and build these because they're going to be handled just when I'm table ready, you know. Now, in terms of the game, I haven't played it yet, as you can see, but this really does sound like a fun game. I've watched a couple of online videos of people playing through the game, and you get to actually play missions right out of the Aliens movie, and that's awesome too. I just wanted to kind of give you guys a look at something a little bit different, but also still modeling, and these figures would be a lot of fun to go ahead and paint up. Now, on the back of the box, you can kind of get a full layout here of what the board game looks like and all the different figures. And we have different maps, we have different character cards, we have different cards themselves, we have dice, we have tokens, we have figures. So there's a lot of stuff in this game. There's actually 2 expansions as well. Those expansions actually look like they add a lot of content to this particular game. They also have other Marines you can get, so that would be kind of fun to do. And if these work out, you never know, I might pick up the expansions as well. That's more Marines to paint, and it's more equipment as well. So that'd be very interesting. But anyway, everybody, I just wanted to go ahead and give you guys a look at a couple of new additions to the stash that are sci-fi related. I think any of those would be really fun to go ahead and work on. So if you guys have any interest in seeing any of those, go ahead and throw them down in the comments. I would love to get you guys' input on it. Next week, I'm hoping to have an episode for the ATST up and ready to go for you guys. So until then, you guys know the drill. Go out there and get yourself some bench time, have some fun, build something cool, and we'll see you back here next week for another episode of Sci-Fi Wednesdays. Thanks so much, everybody. We'll see you soon.